Hello and welcome, folks. My name is Pat Gage, and in today's video I'm going to talk about what needs to be in your due diligence checklist when you're buying an apartment building. Now, this is the checklist that you're going to use when you're doing your LOI or purchase and sales agreement. This is not the checklist that you're going to use on site, and that'll be another video that you'll use on site for due diligence. Okay, so let's get started here and move on to the next one. So, what is due diligence, right? What are we looking at, right? What do we mean when we talk about due diligence? Well, due diligence is basically the act of uncovering, discovering, all the things that have to do with a building, financially, operationally, all that information you need to gather, and that's why they call it due diligence, is the diligence that needs to be done, that you should be doing before you put in your offer, and have an idea of that information, or I should say have a firm grasp of how that property is working, either financially, functionally, all these times. What you're trying to do really in due diligence, let me kind of break it down to you. You're trying to figure out why you won't do this deal. That's the bottom line. That's what you're trying to do, is find out why you will not do this deal. And that's basically what due diligence step is. Now, the next step is the due diligence checklist. When is the due diligence checklist used, right? This, first of all, is used when the due diligence checklist is used during the like I said earlier, when you're doing the letter of intent and the purchase and sales agreement. And again, this is not done for the on-site visit. Okay, this is done when you're putting in an offer for a building. And in a previous video, I talked about the letter of intent, so please watch that if you don't know what that means. So basically what you're doing is you're kind of asking ahead of time, right? And the next thing is if you don't receive, from the seller, a vast majority of the requirements information that are available to be on site, right? So what you're doing is this checklist is giving them advance notice, the seller, hey, this is what I'm going to be looking for. This is what I'm expecting. So let's negotiate now. If you don't have 6 years of rent rolls, or you don't have 6 years of expenses, well, let's talk, right? And you want to do this stuff now and get them prepared, because again, one, it kind of opens the door to negotiations, kind of opens the door to, okay, what are we looking for? How much information is the seller going to have to go get? Now, sometimes I've had it where I put this in an LOI and I've had the seller back off, right? And just say, okay, well, I'm not going to sell it. Well, wait a minute, you can't not sell it. You said you're open. Well, in talking with them, finding out that they didn't have a lot of the stuff that I was requesting. Well, where is it? Right here. Well, that's good, but I can't take your brain to my banker. So, and we worked it out. Obviously, we worked it out and worked through it. But again, the records were in such disarray that it was just, you just couldn't proceed, right? All right, so now next thing we think about is, areas of the due diligence checklist. I'm going to give you some ideas of areas. Now, these are not all inclusive. These will highlight a lot of the large areas that need to be on every due diligence checklist. Now, over the years, I've added and deleted, mostly added stuff that I'm looking for. But I wanted to give you this, at least a little bit of a list here of what this looks like, so you can do this for yourself, right? You're going to ask for leasing information and policies, right? You're going to ask for a copy of the marketing documentation, if there is any, right? Do they do marketing? Where are they marketing? What subscriptions do they have? The financial and operational reports of this complex, right? How have they been running this? Have they been mixing this money in with their personal money? You're probably going to find that a lot with the smaller units, under 80 and 90 units. You're probably going to find that. But again, you want them to understand where you're coming from. You need this stuff to show to the banks and to your partners if this is a good deal or not, right? Also, the management reports. Do they have any management reports? And again, Depending on the size of property you're looking at and looking at purchasing, you may have a 10 unit, 10 unit. They may not call them management reports. You may not even have a property manager. But again, like I said, I just want to give you the high level, bullet points here so you can be thinking in this rate. Now, they may not call them management reports. They may call them, hey, I print out a spreadsheet every week. Okay, great. That's what I need. Bookkeeping reports, right? The reports in the bookkeeper. If they do some kind of book report. Number 6, income and expense information, right? The seller's telling you, oh yeah, this is how much rent we're bringing in. Oh my gosh, yeah, oh yeah, the expenses are way down here. Okay, show me the expenses. Show me that the expenses are that small. Are they paying the expenses out of another account from another company? I've had that happen where, their expenses on this one property are, in an apartment building is 50% expense to your income. One gentleman comes to mind. He was at 30%. Well, why? Well, he was charging a lot of the other expense, the other 20% on another building that he owned. Well, when I go buy this building, I'm not gonna have somebody else paying my 20 expenses. And if you can get that done, that'd be awesome. But that's not going to happen, right? That's going to come back on you. So you need to have that and understand what that is. So the next couple things here, again, more things. And again, these are, not all inclusive, folks. This is hopefully just giving you an area, an idea of the different things that you're going to need to ask for, right? Management payroll, if you have a property manager, your insurance documentation, inventory, environmental studies, which is a big one. Did they do a phase 1 or a phase 2? You need to ask this from the seller because you don't want to be spending money. And if they can recertify an environmental study, that can save you 10, 20 grand right there. Okay. And the financing, what kind of financing is on the property? If you're getting ready to buy this property, are you going to get a new loan? Are you going to assume debt? What kind of financing do they have currently on the property, and can you provide it for me? If it's paid off, awesome, that's great. But a title company will figure that out during a title search. Any other kind of legal documentations, construction documents, anything. They've added on roofs or added on a floor or whatever. Get the construction documents. Now, in construction documents, kind of a side note there. Also get the city and county permits. Okay, make sure that the building is up to code, right? Make sure that when they put in that that new laundry facility, that all the permits were pulled, that all the plumbing was inspected. Because I've ran across places where all of a sudden that building appears over a couple of years and the city had no record of it. Well, that's great for the seller because they're pretty much kind of grandfathered in, right? Well, you go and you're the new owner. Guess what's going to happen? The city's going to come knocking on your door and saying, "Hey, you can't use that because it's not permitted." And if it's at your laundry facility, that's one, that's a loss of income, but 2, now you got upset residents and you got to figure out how to fix that. So again, these are things you ask for and get your seller prepared that this is what you're going to look for. And again, you do this, a lot of this you'll put in as just like I put here, these 13 things in the LOI saying, here's what we're looking for. You don't have to explain it, right? But get the seller on notice to say, hey, this is what we're kind of looking for. This is where we're needing to go with this conversation because, we're looking at, getting this stuff done the right way. Okay, so again, the purpose here, folks, of the due diligence checklist, right, is getting this information on the LOI and also in your purchase and sales agreement to make sure that everything the current owner does or knows about this property that you do and know in here, right? So you get from an operation standpoint exactly how it's working, financially, emotionally, who he's paying, because I've heard horror stories from people saying, hey, we took this property over, and then all of a sudden there's this new guy in the office, and we're going like, who are you? Well, I'm the part-time, maintenance guy, and he pays me $12 an hour, and we're like, we have no record of this, And also you want to uncover or walk away from issues that may sink your investment. That's really what you're doing. And also you look very much professional, right? When you come in and ask these information, and you're also, again, putting that seller and saying, listen, we're sophisticated, we know what we're doing, you're not going to pull the wool over my eyes. And also you want to do is so that you have a standard way of performing this on every property you purchase, right? Again, and I talk about this in another video as well, as having rules of thumb, checklists, guidelines that say, listen, this is what I'm going to need on every property, and again, it can vary, but at least you have this list now in the last 2 slides, print those off and at least use that as a guideline, right? And folks, I hope that this video gave you some kind of information, gave you some kind of value. I appreciate that, and please comment below. But I also like to give you a free gift. The gift is my special report on my website. The website there is at the bottom, www.opportunitycreator.com. Go in and download my special report. Get on my subscriber email. We don't over inundate you with emails. We maybe do it once or twice a quarter. But take a look at that free download. Which is a better investment, the stock market or real estate? And I'm hoping, because you stayed this long in the video, that it's going to be real estate. All right, we look for you on the other side. This has been Pat Gage, and thank you very much.